Hey guys, so today I am sharing with you a proposed, well, it's my spreadsheet for retirement. Now, you know, this is uh, this is just the planning phase. I'm 10 years away from my expected retirement, and some of you know, my wife and I are going to hit the road at age 55. We're going to buy an RV and travel. And we're going to do that somewhat frugally. Okay. I have made a video about what I'm showing right here is the baseline bare minimum monthly expenses in retirement. And I have us spending $400 on food, $200 on gas, $200 on maintenance. That's vehicle maintenance, RV maintenance. $100 on insurance. That's vehicle insurance, RV insurance. $70 on phone. I can probably cut that down now that I know that something like a Mint Mobile exists. $100 on entertainment. That's my wife and I going out and watching a movie or checking out a museum or something. $50 for car registration, dependent upon where we domicile at. If you don't know what domicile means, for RV travelers, that just means where you say that you live. Even though you live in your RV and travel the country, a domicile is where you place your residency, basically. A campground membership of $50 a month. That would probably be a video on itself. There is a timeshare, basically a timeshare membership that you can buy with 1,000 trails, and they allow you to stay in their campgrounds up to 3 weeks at a time and all year long. So, just so you know, 1,000 Trails, the ticker symbol on who owns them is ELS, which is Equity Lifestyle Properties. If you look at their profitability, they're pretty profitable. You wouldn't have thought so with campgrounds. I mean, that's not the only thing they do, but RVs run on propane, so I'm gonna not run on propane, but the systems do, like your stove, your refrigerator, your furnace. So I'd say that about $30 a month. And then miscellaneous. I think I spelled miscellaneous wrong. But anyway, miscellaneous of $100. That's eating out, enjoying something, or whatever, whatever it might be. Now that comes out to $1,300 per month. Now I didn't include healthcare in there, because with healthcare, there's no telling how that is actually going to be in 10 years. It could be, quote unquote free. We may, I hate to say this because it sounds horrible, depending upon where our assets are, we may qualify for free healthcare. And I don't want to plan for that. I'd like to have my own. But if need be, there's things in this country that pays to be poor. I mean, it's just the point blank of it. It really is. So what I have here is a spreadsheet, and I have age 55 at the age of retirement and the portfolio value of $250,000. I'm being conservative, but even if I don't hit that, I'm going to retire anyway. I'll just have to go and probably earn some money here and there. But Wealthfront actually projects your portfolio value over time with your savings rate currently, and it says I'd have over 300,000, so I'm just kind of doing a little buffer there, and I'm going to say $250,000. I'm going to put dividend yield of 6%. I'm not going to adjust that at all. My current dividend yield on my portfolio is above 7%, but I think I will. You should be able to get a good 6%, especially with starting investing now. Your yield on cost should be pretty good. So I'm gonna just say 6%, and I'm not gonna adjust that at all ever. I'll just leave it steady. I'm not gonna say it's gonna increase or anything. So with that 6% dividend yield, you get about $15,000 a year in dividend income. And then I have Social Security and expenses. Now you'll see I got expenses here of $1,300 per month. That's the baseline minimum, but I increased that by about a little over 50%, just to have a little of a leeway, and so I made it $24,000. So $2,000 a month instead of $1,300. And what I did also is I increased that expense by 2% a year all the way through. And then Social Security I also increased by 2% all the way through. So if you look at when we hit the road at age 55, we'll have expenses of $24,000. So at age 56, our portfolio value will be $241,000. That is due to our expenses outweighing our dividend income. So, the second year in, the dividend income is going to drop, our expenses are going to rise, and so on and so forth. So you'll see by the time we hit age 62 projected, we will have our dividend income would have dropped from $15,000 a year down to $9,776 because we are pulling assets from the portfolio. So at age 62, we'll have $162,940. Either my wife or I will start collecting Social Security, and that'll give us about $1,000 a month. So between the dividend income and Social Security, our portfolio is still going to bleed, and it's going to bleed pretty bad because at age 65, I'm just putting in scenarios here that could possibly happen. And I'm saying in 10 years at age 65 that we decide, I'm tired of living in this RV. Maybe we need to, worst case scenario, move to Florida, buy ourselves a little mobile home in a senior mobile home park, and just relax. And the $30,000 can get it done in Florida. Now you'll have some rent, and I didn't really put that into expenses because I bumped it up so much. And then some of these might drop off as well. So I'm just kind of baselining it, because in Florida you can get some cheaper than this, and this is in Auburndale, Florida, which is I think central Florida roughly. Let's see where it's at. Ooh, it's right by a lake. I just chose one. I just picked it up and chose one. Yeah, Central Florida by Tampa. So I'm saying that we went and bought, a mobile home at $30,000 at age 65. And so that really put us a hit on our portfolios. That dropped it down to 105. I'm keeping the expenses the same. Our expenses are now up to $30,000. My wife's Social Security income, increasing 2% a year, is now up to $13,000. And we get really iffy here at age 70. But at age 70, I collect Social Security, so we'll both be collecting Social Security. and we'll have almost $36,000 a year coming just from Social Security, with our expenses at $32,000. So the balance will be reinvested into the portfolio, and it'll rise for a little bit. And I just put in a scenario where I die at age 75. So what would happen is my wife's income will drop to $25,000 because she'd lose her Social Security and jump into mine. But our expenses are still growing, and our dividend income is going to start shrinking again. So at age 76, she'll have $108,000, $6,500 in dividends, $25,000 in Social Security, $36,000 in expenses. And by the time she hits 89, she's broke. But that is assuming I did not, when I died at 75, I did not take out any expenses. I left the expenses exactly the same. But if you're single and you're not a couple anymore, you will probably spend less. So this is probably not, going to materialize. My wife is pretty frugal person, and she knows how to budget. So, this is just worst case scenario. And her, as long as she can cut back a little bit on her expenses, say she went to, 30 grand a year, and, her dividend income and her Social Security would cover that 30 grand a year quite easily, and then it would stretch out a lot further. So that is it. I'm going to play with this a lot more and see how I can do it and make it, if I went with the 300,000 that Wealthfront said I would have, this would turn into a pretty easy game. We'd never be under $100,000 ever. So that's one thing. If I want to delay Social Security a little bit, I could do that. I'm going to play around and add an income stream here. Maybe I can, make some money doing something. If a couple $1,000 a year would make a huge difference in this. And I'll play around with it and give updates as I mess around and figure things out. But that's it. That's retirement on $250,000, and very doable depending upon this expenses. That's going to be the thorn in your side, and the lower you can have your expenses, the lower your portfolio value needs to be to last you throughout your lifetime. And then Social Security will play a huge factor in that, because if I didn't take Social Security, if we both took Social Security at age 70, we'd probably, we'd run negatives. So that's just how that is. So I'll tweak this and I'll give you updates as we go forward. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear them, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.